motion that we use the, what is it that we had? What's the first?
The managerial employees
Managerial
annual performance
employee evaluation form with that addition of the ICMA added.
And maybe a clarification, Ms. Robinson, that any part of the addendum that deals specifically with ICMA code of ethics or other regulations would not be applicable to Mr. Sessions.
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I lost somebody trying to get my attention. Okay. So where are we at right now?
So we have a motion. We have a motion to approve the managerial employees annual performance evaluation form together with the addendum utilization of the ICMA best practices, with the caveat that none of that, anything in that addendum that applies specifically to ICMA, code of ethics or other regulations would not be applicable because he's not certified and should not be held.
8 of these are ICMA practices. 8 of them. So basically, the only one you can use is the last one.
Give a second.
Well,
Yes, sir.
Other than
Well,
the
I made the motion. Wait for a second.
I think we need a second.
Yes, we need a second.
Okay, second.
All right, so we have a motion
Second.
and a second. Discussion now, that would be, I guess, as Mr. Sessions agreed to.
Well, I'd like to bring something up. This particular form, which, like I said, was used before, I just saw it, and it's very comprehensive. It's got 11 items in here, including the overall evaluation. And we just said that anything that had to do with ICMA would be removed from this. Well, out of the 9 things on this evaluation, 8 of them talk about ICMA practices. There's only one in here that doesn't mention ICMA, and that's the overall performance of number 9. Everything else says ICMA best practices. If I'm not a member of it, then I don't see why I should be.
Most city managers in the state of Florida are members.
I was invited to this meeting just this year, so I was never even told about ICMA until this year. And I did go to the meeting, and I have a copy of their code of ethics and everything. But every one of these says ICMA best practices on this particular form.
I haven't read that. I have not read that form.
All right, so what would be the pleasure of the council?
I think we got a motion to
I
second.
thought we had a motion to second.
I'm sorry, yes. No.
Did you see the vote?
All right, so we'll roll call this because just to make sure everybody's on the record. So, start at the end.
Alford, I'm going no.
Brown Robinson, yes.
Jefferson, yes.
Campbell would be no.
So would we then, at least to get through this year's evaluation, and I could work with council if there are any additional questions or areas for next year, if we can agree on the managerial employees annual performance evaluation form, that gets us through this evaluation period, and then bring it forward to the February meeting. I'll be glad to work with Ms. Robinson on carving out what is or isn't ICMA, and maybe come up with an addendum that we have plenty of time to discuss with Mr. Sessions, and that way, we have a head start for next year. I don't mind doing that at all, Ms. Robinson.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just that we have two years straight and adequate evaluation of Mr. Sessions has not been done. And it was just a renewal of the contract. And I know that some of you all in here, I've received a call today about, oh, I was set out to fire Mr. Sessions. I never set out to fire Mr. Sessions. What I want to do is just make sure everything is done right. He said you don't want, my constituents say, hey, listen, they're tired of status quo. You're tired of things going the way they're going. Then let's get it right. And just by you getting up here saying, oh yes, Mr. Session is a great guy, Mr. Session is a great guy. But the way he handles some of the city business is not great.
Exactly.
Okay? So you have to understand that and where I'm coming from. I am responsible to the people, to the residents of the city of Live Oak. And when you're having practices or whatever that is not in order, then that is a problem. And so what the ones who are calling say, oh yeah, no, I'm not out to fire Mr. Sessions. I'm out to try to set this council the way it's supposed to be run the right way. And if you feel like I'm staging, that's your problem. And to the ones who said, when I said that, yes, I'm passionate about my constituents and what I do, that is passion. And it's not about being rude. It's not about, I haven't been rude to anyone. But what I say is because I talk with passion, I'm passionate about what I do. I read the things that happens for the city. I go back and I look at the videos from 14, 15 years ago, just trying to undo some of the stuff that was done in this city to some of the people in the districts of this city. And when you only focusing on businesses and not the 5 districts, and we have infrastructure and where the roads the way they are, and all you talk, no. And when we have about this is about the performance of Mr. Sessions.
You being out of
No,
order.
this is the performance. This is
You're
about
giving your personal opinion on the performance of Mr.
no.
Sessions.
This is about the
We're trying
performance
to
of
come up
Mr.
with some type
Sessions.
of
When Mr.
evaluation.
Sessions does not put
I'm just gonna keep
energy in District 1, District 2, District 3, District 4, and District 5, there is a problem. You are doing, no.
Yes, I understand.
What you're trying to do is, like I said the last time, you all can get up and walk out if you like, but this is what you call, what's that term? As to trying to become the victim. It's not.
There is.
So for the issue tonight,
Right.
so that we move forward, is the council okay with using this form, the managerial employees annual performance form for this year, so that it is going to be required to be completed and turned in, and then it will be up to each council member as to whether they want to meet with Mr. Sessions prior to the February meeting to discuss it. That we have that at least done for this year. We will have an evaluation, and then I will work with Ms. Robinson and Mr. Sessions to see what parts of the addendum that I referred to earlier that we could incorporate for next year, so that 6 months before next year's evaluation, we all know what the form is. And then that way, everybody has it for the 6 months and can be utilizing it, in their evaluation process.
Are we gonna utilize the old form for this evaluation?
Well, that's my question, is we need to agree on one for this year so we can get this particular evaluation complete.
So then, so if we,
We have to have another motion.
I'll make a motion to use the existing form.
I second, as long as we're going to come back and have a workshop or whatever else about this second form, so we can have a unified form, because normally these evaluations are done in January. We missed last January. We've never had one with Mr. Sessions whatsoever, evaluation.
Well, that's what I'm saying, I'll go ahead and work with Ms. Robinson and Mr. Sessions so that, at least 6 or 8 months before the next one's due, we'll come back and have it approved, whether it's the form we're using now or the form with additional questions. We'll have that done 6 or 8 months before we accomplish this task again.
Mr. President, I have a comment, please.
Also, before you comment, I do agree with Mr. Jefferson, though I think it might be wise to workshop that so that we can all bring something to the table, and that way we have more than just 1 or 2 forms that are presented, so we can collectively come up with a whole new form if that's.
So, I'd like to make a couple comments.
Sure, yes, sir.
The last meeting in December, I brought up that we need to do an evaluation. not like I'm dodging evaluations. I'd like to know what you think of my performance. So I brought that up in December. Now we're in January, we're gonna go to February with this. Now, the other thing that was talking about infrastructure and things like that, this city runs on grant money. I've been working really hard trying to help our economics. The only way to do infrastructure, pave roads, make things look better is if we have our own spending money. If I ask for grants, the only thing I'm gonna get to do is what the grant says.
Can I stop you for just a
Yes,
second?
sir.
So we have a motion and a
I'm
second
sorry.
on the table, so let's get through with that, and then, again, like I was talking to Ms. Robinson, to be fair to her, we gotta stay on
I'm sorry.
topic.
I'm sorry.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll roll call this one as well.
Offered, yes.
And what do we,
It's just, for this year, we will
Evaluation
use the current form that's been utilized in the past with the idea that we're gonna workshop for a final form well before
Brown
next
Robinson,
year.
yes.
Jefferson, yes.
Campbell, yes. All right, so that's approved. Now, Mr. Sessions, if you
So,
would
so
finish.
back to economics. We have had very little growth. We've had 3 hurricanes. We beg for money all the time. To move forward, to do things that I would like to do, and like everybody else wants to see is infrastructure fixed, we've got 100-year-old pipes that break all the time, and we're getting them patched every day. We've got things that we need to do that cost millions of dollars. The only way for the city to improve is to get a bigger tax base, and some of the businesses that have come in that have been mentioned in the past are adding with the tap and impact fees. You know, I'll give you a good example. I got a $36,000 check from the county for a building within the city the other day, because it's another building being built. So if we get more economics here, we get more money to spend, and I'm not begging for grants to help fund the city. I'm actually getting my own spending money to go do the things that I know needs to be done. Everything that I've been able to do so far has been on grants. All the streets that you've seen paved, and I believe it's in Ms. Robinson's district, we're all paved through grants. But by putting water across 129 enabled us to open up all those businesses from Chick-fil-A down, all the way. We took care of Starbucks down to the firehouse since I've been here. You know, it was kind of stagnant prior to this. I want to move forward. I want to see us grow the proper way. But the only way to grow is to have more and better infrastructure. And when and if I get this big grant to mitigate the flooding in Live Oak that I've been working for over a year on with a hazard mitigation grant, I'll give you one example of paving. What's one of the worst streets in town? It's Helmiston. Everybody gripes about Helmiston. Well, Helmiston will be the main thoroughfare of water leaving the south side of the downtown area that floods with a 60-inch pipe underneath it with water, sewer, and gas going down to Railroad Street, where I'm gonna dig 2 big ponds that takes all the water on the south side of downtown away by gravity. Anything north of the tracks, we're gonna have pumps and pipes in that'll be metered, and they'll be taken to 2 separate locations on either side of 129 north of town. That plan has been in my head since Debbie, and I got with a very good engineering company. They put it on paper, they know what it's gonna cost, and it's up to me to get a grant and beg everybody for this, about $60 million to make this happen. If it goes through, then Live Oak will never flood again. And then if it doesn't flood again, the downtown businesses which have no insurance at this point, we can prove to them they won't be flooded, they will get insurance. Downtown will flourish again. And a lot of the open lots or vacant buildings will actually have taxpayers paying taxes. So the only way to do things is to have your own spending money. And that's what I do every day. I'm out there looking. There was a lady that was sitting right over here. I made a promise to her, and I guarantee you by 9 o'clock tomorrow, I will call her phone and I'll give her answer. Y'all don't see the people that I deal with every day in that lobby. Some of them crackheads, some of them idiots, some of them I have to grab by the throat almost. I called to ask for backup the other day because I had one that was doing me like this, and I didn't want to touch him, didn't want to hurt him, okay? But I was that close to grabbing him by the throat and walking him outside. Y'all don't see all these things I do every day,
Hold on, Mr.
behind the
Sessions.
scenes.
Hold on.
But anyway, I'm sorry, I'm on a rant, so I'll shut up. But I'm just saying that I am very involved with all the citizens in this city when they come up to pay their water bills and do things. I'm the face they want to see, and I'm the one that goes out and talks to them. I spend a lot of my day in that lobby every day. So that's all I got to say.
Now.
Thanks for everybody coming.
Let me say this. We, council, the same thing from the public, the citizens. Get phone calls, night, weekend, sitting in the yard. Here's a constituent comes up, want to know this, want to know that. All right, we get those same calls. I called Tallahassee, try to get some money on a particular street and all that. Money finally came. You can't ask for the whole pie, I get a slice of the pie. And that's how things are pretty much done. We asking for $100 million or $50 million. And we know, as you well as know as I know, that the state nor the federal government is going to hand that type of money out. We got different grants and avenues that we have to go through. We do hard work. We do things as well. I just don't sit on my duff. I'm constantly calling Tallahassee trying to figure out how we can improve. But I'm sure we got some streets here that does not need as much infrastructure underneath. Like I said before, people need to see something tangible. Taxpayers need to see something. Instead of we continue to kick the can down the road and talk about this and that and large sums of money. But some of these streets that we do have, and I hope Broom and Brown is still there to be paid. So that's what I'm saying. Let's deal what we can deal with and worry about the heavy stuff later on. We're supposed to have interlocal agreement with the county. I've heard that all the time, but county nor us city have stepped forward together to do paving. Paving have their own, county have their own paving.
And Mr. Sessions, I don't want this meeting to end where you're thinking that I don't appreciate the work that you do and how you interact with the public. I do. I do appreciate that. But then there are some things, it's the tunnel vision of the businesses. And we're leaving the older districts behind. That's what I want to see a little more of. But I do appreciate what you do.
Let me say this, and I'm gonna be quiet. I encourage folks to call you. I encourage our citizens to call.
That's fine.
That's a duty and responsibility has been the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of this city. So all the calls you get or whatever else you come from these constituents and all that, I encourage them. And you treat them right. You do good. You go out and follow up. You go out and you call and all that. When those folks come back to me and say, yeah, I talked to Mr. Sessions, and when did this, he said that, he come by my house and I showed him what was going on, that's what we appreciate. But to follow the job description, that's what we need to do as well.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. President, I think after the meeting tonight, I'd like to get with the attorney. Let's see if we can't move up this workshop. I think we should. I hope that this lady can maybe adjust her schedule.
I would doubt it, but I will try.
Well, you know, the Florida League of Cities have people too that do that, so maybe we can discuss it and see.
Okay,
I
sure.
just think we should try to have it sooner rather than later, so that's just my thought.
Before we dismiss, just want to remind everybody to keep Ms. Gladys in prayer. She's in the hospital, pretty serious medical condition, so
And
you
there's
would
one
keep counsel.
last thing too. I want to mention to everybody that George Curtis lost his wife last week. And he's been through a big struggle the last 4 months.
Yes.
And the memorial will be this Saturday in Lake City at the Orchard Church for Miss Christine Curtis. So y'all keep him in the prayers.
All right, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you for coming.